on after warm up or during warm up? Yeah. Okay. You do the. Oh. Going on tour. Out there at left wing. Utah controls it in the corner. They dump it out of the zone. Looked like that one got tipped, so they wave off icing. Willa back there to collect it in the corner. Oh, she tried to pop it up to the blue line, went right to a Utah player. They shoot, goes wide. Couldn't tell if that got Marley's blocker or if it was just a wide shot. Tigers trying to clear it back out. Utah controls it, getting it up in the face-off circle, dumps it down into the far side corner. Shot out in front, or center pass out in front of Marley. Marley poke checks that back into her pad and gets it covered up. Reagan out at center. Walsey at right wing. And Colby and Bella out there for defense with Lucy hanging out on the right wing territory. Utah controls it back behind the net, circling it back out to the face-off circle, dumps it back to the defense. Defense pushes up, back to the winger, tries to center it across, gets deflected off of Reagan's skate out to Lucy, who pops it back out into the neutral zone. Utah collects that though, circling back towards their defensive end. Get things collected, and here they're making their push up into the offensive end. Shot in, gets deflected off of Bella's stick. Walsey over there to put pressure on it on the far side boards. Reagan down there to help her out. Utah collects it, getting it in front, and shot over Marley. And Utah has the lead, 1-0. 7:37 left in the first period. So we'll get a face-off here. Center ice, Phoebe back out there at center. She wins the face-off, kicks it back to Maggie. Maggie on the blue line, pops it back up to Phoebe. Phoebe couldn't quite get the puck to go with her, so popped it back to go to Maggie. who dumps it over to her fellow defenseman, and they pop it in on goal. But the Utah goalie scoops that up and is going to elect for the face-off. So Utah has got 6 shots on goal so far this period. Tigers 1. We'll get an offensive zone face-off here. Phoebe wins the face-off, tried to get a quick shot off, but got interrupted by a Utah skater. The Tigers get the puck back behind the net, pop it out to Maggie. Maggie slaps it towards the net, over to Sienna. Sienna's back there, sends it back behind the net. Looked like we had a little check there, not going to get called by the refs. Back out into the face-off circle. They tried to send it over to the near side boards. It's deflected, but here they come on the attack. Shot in, Marley hits that with their blocker, sends it wide. Carly has it, tries to center it across. Sienna lost her footing there, went down, but here comes Nordsee in. Pops it back behind the net. She's got Phoebe down there with it. Puck goes the other way there on the far side into the corner. Looks like we got Claire down there battling, got control of the puck. She turns around, gets into the face-off circle. She's got a chance to shoot. Shot in. Goalie gets down and makes the pad save, sending it to the near side boards. Down in the corner, Tigers battling. Viv down there to cut it off from the blue line to keep it in the offensive zone. Battle down there going on the blue line. Claire dumps it towards the goal. Utah there to collect it up. They send it back out into the neutral zone, and here they come on the attack, dumping it into the far side corner. They're going for a line change. Willa Keeler's back there to scoop it up for the Tigers, gets tripped up. Viv there to grab the puck and send it back out to the blue line. And cleared it out there. Should get an icing call on that, though. Got Reagan out there at center for the Tigers. Walsey at right wing. Nordsee at defense. Lucy at the other winger. Shot in on Marley. Nice pad save. And she gets over across the net to block that from going in. The rebound was coming back at her. Made 2 nice saves there. Utah still controls the puck over on the near side. They center it across, can't quite control it. Maggie grabs it and is pushing it out to the neutral zone, bounces it off the boards. Utah grabs it, circling it back. Here they come on the push. Reagan down there to battle with the Utah player. Pushing it up towards Lucy. Nordsee intercepts it as it's heading towards the net, pops it up to Walsey, Walsey to the neutral zone. Lucy's got it, she's got it on her stick, and she passes it across ice to Utah defenseman, who pops it back down into their offensive zone. Bella Blackmore over there to scoop it up as they made a defensive change in the process. Phoebe out there for the Tigers. Shot in on Marley and she swallows that up. Falls down onto the there for the Tigers. Shot in on Marley and she swallows that up. Falls down onto the puck. Point blank shot and Marley came up big on that save. So point blank shot and Marley came up big on that save. So that puck was a humming. Phoebe's still in there at center for the Tigers. She'll take the face off, controlled by Tigers defenseman. Can't tell who that is. Looks like that was Casey. Tigers defenseman. Can't tell who that is. Looks like that was Casey Colby out there. Pops it up to Phoebe. Phoebe's loose if she can get around. Backhand shot in on the Utah goalie. Utah goalie doesn't know where it's at. But looks like the referee lost track of it. It was sitting underneath the goalie, so he blows it dead. We'll get a face-off on the far face-off circle in the Tigers' offensive end. Nice pressure by the Tigers there. So far being outshot in the first period 8-3. face-off there, taken by Carly. She could pop it back to the defense, back up to Phoebe. Phoebe tries to circle it around to get in front of the net, but loses it in traffic. Here comes Utah on the push into their offensive zone, doubles it back. Going to try to center it across. Tigers interrupt that. Phoebe's got it on her stick, pops it on the boards. Up to Sienna. Sienna centers it back over to Phoebe. They get it out into the neutral zone. Utah scoops it back up, though, and here they come on the charge. Shot in, gets deflected by Willa. Viv there to keep it from getting all the way out in front of the net and get it pushed over into the corner. Battle going on down there for the puck, so it looks like Utah's coming up with it, but they actually lose control, and here comes Viv out with it. Gets poke check off her stick right before she gets it into the neutral zone, so here comes Utah back on the push. Back out to the defense. Defense save for Marley. Tigers will switch it up. Looks like we got Reagan in there at center. Maggie at defense. Lucy at the winger position along with Walsey, and then Nordzy out there as the other defenseman. Reagan pops it back towards the blue line. Utah there to scoop it up. They get it centered up, but Tigers intercept that. Here comes Lucy pushing out with it. They got numbers. She's got Walsey with her. Oh, she lost it at the red, just as she was passing over the red line. Goes back into the Tigers' end. Nordzy has it back behind the net. Kicks it over here to the near side corner. Lucy over there. Battling with two Utah players. They try to push it towards the net. Tigers interrupt that. Back out to the defenseman, turns and fires, and Marley not able to come up with that one. Beats her on the blocker side, it looked like. So 2:05 left. Utah 2, Tigers nothing. Being outshot so far in this first period, 9-3. Phoebe back out there at center for the Tigers. Looking to at least cut this lead in half before the period comes to an end. Girls are skating hard, just haven't been able to come up with anything offensively yet. Down in the offensive zone, Willa there to try to keep it in, comes out into the neutral zone. Here comes Utah on the push. Back out to a trailing defender, shot in on Marley. There's the rebound, comes out, and Utah there to pop it back in over her shoulder. Marley not very happy with herself on that one. I think she thought she should have come up with the initial shot. So 1:40 left, Tigers trailing 3-0. Claire in there at center for the Tigers. Nora at right wing. Aisha at left wing. Puck coming through the neutral zone. Claire there to try to interrupt the Utah push. Viv grabs it, pops it up to Claire. Here come the Tigers out in the neutral zone. They lose it at the red line. Utah scoops it up, circles it back around. Puck goes into the near side corner. Claire back there to collect it. She's looking to see where everybody's positioned. Tries to pop it up to Nora. Gets deflected off of a Utah stick, so we got a little battle going on the near side boards there. Puck goes back behind the net. Viv grabs it. Bodying up the Utah player. Another Utah skater comes up there and dumps it back to the defense. Sends a shot towards the net, but gets deflected here to the near side corner. Two Tigers down there. Still battling. Utah collects it, tried to center it there, but Claire got her stick on it. Does trickle out to the defenseman. Right in front, shot in. Score. 27 seconds left. Not the start that the Tigers were looking for. Being outshot so far looks like 10-3 in the first period. All right, here we go back into the Utah offensive end. They're controlling everything right now. Grizzlies have the momentum. Tiger goes down in front of the net. And out in front, shot goes wide. Back out to the defenseman. They turn to fire, gets blocked. Nordzy pokes it past. Here comes Nordzy. She's got some speed. Pops it in, but there's the buzzer, ending the bleeding of the first period. So Tigers will regroup. Two periods left to go. Still lots of hockey left. So shots on goal in that first period looks like it was 12 for Utah to the Tigers 3. Ending with a score of 4-0. Girls all down at the bench listening to Coach Bonnet giving them instructions. Trying to make adjustments, see if we can get something going here to start the second period. So Utah breaks their huddle. They're coming out to the face-off circle. Tigers do the same. Goalies will swap ends. Looks like we have Phoebe out there at center, Sienna left wing, and Carly at right wing, Willa Keelers and Viv out there at defense for the Tigers. Tigers push it into the offensive zone, lose it just as they go over the blue line. Here comes Utah on the charge. They got a person out in front of the net, gets tied up with Viv, and shot in on Marley. She makes the save there. Utah player, but they get untangled, and puck comes out to the neutral zone. Tigers trying to push it into the offensive end. Phoebe chasing it back to the near side corner. Utah controls it, circles it back behind the net. Tried to center it across. Carly there to intercept it. She gets around the skater. A shot in, goes wide left of the net. Utah puck momentum took it out of the zone all the way down into the Tigers' end. Willa collects it back behind the net. She'll pass it over to Viv. Viv scoops it up, sends it back across to Willa. Willa pushing it out. Got Walsey on her left. Dumps it into the Utah end, back behind the net. Tigers try to pressure. Reagan out there to cut it off on the near side board. Sends it into the corner. Walsey over there to dump it behind the net. Lucy giving chase over there. Looks like we're going to get an elbow penalty on Utah. So Tigers will go on the man advantage here for a minute and a half. .12:34 left in the second period. Tigers on the power, back out there at center with Sienna and Claire out there at the wingers. Viv and Willa out there manning the blue line. Ref making a change at center for the Utah. Shot in. Shot in for the Tigers. It comes out. They pop it back into the for the Tigers. It comes out. They pop it back into the goalie. Quick whistle. Goalie quick whistle. So couple little opportunities there, but 5 seconds run off of the penalty there, but 5 seconds run off of the penalty clock. There's the face-off. Sienna takes it, dumps it back behind the net. Phoebe's got it, circles it around to the face-off circle, dumps it back behind the net. Claire's there, pops it back up to Phoebe. Phoebe's going to send it back to Viv. Viv back to Phoebe. Phoebe steps up, over to Carly. Oh, nice little one-time pass to get it to the center where Sienna was, and she just couldn't handle the pass. Phoebe back over to Viv, back over to Phoebe. They're going to try to set this up again. Nice little one-time pass off of Claire's stick again. Just rockets across the front of the net, back over to Claire. She gets it, and it gets tied up in front of the net. Tigers trying to keep it there. Viv pops it back into the far side corner. Claire over there to collect it, bodying up the Utah player. Utah does collect it back up. Tigers trying to keep it down there. Utah does get it cleared out there. Bounces off a hand of one of the Tigers defensemen though, so doesn't have enough to get down for icing. They waved that off right away anyways. Shot in, gets deflected before it gets to Marley. Phoebe's got it. Here she comes charging out with it. She's got Tigers going with her. Utah back. Phoebe on the near face-off circle, trying to wrap across and shot, but goes back behind the net. Casey looking back behind her, gets popped up to the Utah skater. They carry it into the offensive zone. Loses it to Nordzi. Nordzi collects it, tries to pop it up to Lucy. Lucy is getting control of it at the red line. She brings it into the Tiger zone. Shot in, pad saved by Utah. Penalty is now over, so both teams are at full strength. Reagan in there. Looked like she was going to have an opportunity to pull the trigger. Takes a shot from a weird angle, bounces off the side of the net. Rebound comes back into the goalie, and they get that covered up, so we'll get a face-off here on the near side. 10:26 left in the second period. Tigers getting a little bit more offensive pressure here so far this period. Still haven't been able to find the back of the net. Not sure what the whistle was there. Didn't like something. Redo. Claire pops it into the corner. Utah collects it on the near side boards. Gets it out to the neutral zone. They got a player waiting. They pop it past Willa. Here they go. They got two people coming. Shot in. Marley slid one way. They got it around her, but the backhand went wide. It could be another tripping call there, as looked like that Bella that was going to be out on the loose, but got tripped up as she was hitting the red line, and Tigers will go back on the puck. Got 2 shots on goal on that first power play that they have, so hopefully they can build on that this time around and find the back of the net to start cutting into this lead with 10:01 left in the second period. Phoebe takes it, shot, goalie makes the save, comes out to Nordzi. Nordzi sizing it up, decides to pop it up to Phoebe. A little back and forth. Phoebe takes it, gets it down there to Claire. Claire tried to center it, gets deflected back in behind the net and over to the far side corner. Bodying up each other down there. Claire gets it back on her stick, pops it out towards Phoebe. Didn't have quite enough on it to get it to her. But Reagan in there also. She sends it around to Claire, popping it up to Phoebe. Phoebe back to the defense, but Nordzi wasn't on the wall, so she'll collect it back into the neutral zone, send it back up. Here comes Phoebe. Got Reagan offsides, but she gets back across as Phoebe was waiting for her. Oh, nice little toe drag there to get by one, but the next Utah skater was there to poke it off of her stick. And they bounce it into the Tigers' end. They wave off icing, so Casey will collect it. Nordzy pushing it out. Here she comes. Gets it into the Utah zone. Nice center pass across. Came across right before Claire could get there, though. Claire gets it back behind the net. A nice little pass out in front of the net. Pull it. Gets tied up into their skates and back out into the neutral zone. Willa grabs it. She'll dump it into the zone right before Reagan cleared the blue line, so we'll get an offsides call. 7 seconds left on the power play. No shots on goal for the Tigers so far during this power play. They're going to bring that one all the way out to center ice. There's the face-off, goes over the far side boards. Willow over there to try to poke it towards the blue line. Utah skater bodying up Lucy. A little pushing and shoving going back and forth. Another whistle. Not sure what the whistle's for. Looks like Utah's going back in the box for an elbow penalty. So another Tigers power play. Plenty of opportunities here for the Tigers. It's time to start cashing in. Bring the face-off all the way down into the Tigers' offensive zone on the far side there. Phoebe in there at center. She'll have Sienna on her left. And it looks like Lucy on her right. Pops it into the corner. Lucy grabs it, skating around back of the net. Tried to pop it out in front, but got interrupted. Utah sends it over the far side boards. Lucy grabs it, top of the face-off circle, sends it in on net. Utah's there to interrupt it. Claire took a swipe at it, but it goes wide of the net. Here comes Utah out on the push. Tigers grab it, pushing it back out to the neutral zone. Phoebe will bounce it off. They're going to call icing on that. So 56 seconds left in the power play for the Tigers. This is their third power play for the day, 0 for 2 so far. We have kind of struggled on the power play so far this season. Did get one power play goal in the last game that they played about a week ago or so against Arapahoe. Utah controls it. Tigers pop it back out into the neutral zone. Carries all the way up into the Tigers' offensive zone. Lucy back there to pressure the puck. They'll send it over to the far side. Lucy over there. They pop it up. Defenseman for Tigers was up to cut that off before it came anywhere near the blue line. Sends it back on net. Nordzy takes a shot. Lucy tried to get her stick on it to deflect it, but just missed it, and they'll send that the length of the ice. We'll get an icing call with 17 seconds left on the Tigers power play. Bring it all the way down and get a offensive zone face-off here. So 7:09 left in the second period. Still 4-0 Utah. Pops it out to Willa. Willa dumps it back into the corner, just out of the reach of Reagan, it looks like. Reagan pops it up to Phoebe. Phoebe loses it. There comes Utah out. They should be at full strength now. Here they come on the charge. Shot in on Marley. Goes off of her glove back behind the net. Tigers collect it. Bonnet sends it over to Lucy, just out of her reach, but it carries into the Tigers' offensive zone. Utah collects it, circling back, and here they come charging out into the neutral zone. Tigers' defense is back, sending them wide of the net. They take them back behind the net. They circle it around, center pass across. Tigers there. Reagan's got it on her stick, tried to pop it up to Phoebe. Phoebe has it. Here she comes out with it. Got one person to beat, another one trailing her. And shot in. Goalie makes a nice blocker save, sends it over here to the near side. Utah pops it out into the neutral zone. Here they come on the attack again, but Nordzy there to poke check it off the girl's stick. She'll collect the puck, take it back behind the net. Near side brings it up, pops it out in the neutral zone. Aisha just not able to handle the pass, but here comes Utah back into the offensive zone. Lucy there to gather the puck in the corner, doubles it back on the far side. Here she comes out through the face-off circle. She's got Nora with her, it looks like. Or is that that's Lucy. Shot in. Oh, nice pad save. Looked like it might have deflected up to catch the corner, but goes wide of the net. Here comes Utah back out onto the charge. Dumps it into the near side corner. They'll go for a line change. Nordzy back there to collect it. She dumps it up to Aisha. Aisha tried to lead Nora with a pass there, but way out in front of her, and we'll get an icing call, bring that all the way down to the Tigers' defensive end. Tigers will go ahead and switch their goalie right now with 5 minutes left in the second period. Marley's morning is done, facing, I believe it was 13 shots. It doesn't look like the second period is updated. Probably around 15. I don't think Utah's had very many shots in this second period. Lucy has it coming into the offensive zone, loses it back to Walzer. Walzer sends it towards the net, gets deflected off. Utah controls it, sends it back up the boards on the far side. Here comes Utah on the charge. They got a man all alone in the middle, but couldn't get the puck over to her. They send it deep, back behind the net. Erica follows that over here to the near side corner. Squeezing off that post, not giving them much of an angle. Shot in, gets deflected. Here comes Lucy with it. She's got two Tigers with her, two defensemen back for the Grizzlies. Lucy will pop it back behind the net. Collected over there into the far side corner. Utah collects it behind their net, pops it up towards the blue line. Defenseman not there. So Viv will chase it back, collect it into the Tigers' defensive zone, pop it up to Phoebe. Phoebe grabs it, brings it in. She's got one person to beat. She gets across in front of her. Oh, just couldn't quite get caught up to it in time, and the goalie is able to get that swallowed up. So looks like Marley faced 14 shots in the first half of the game that she was in, letting 4 get by her. Tigers are up to 6 shots on goal for the game. Both teams have 1 shot on net here in the second period, according to the live scoring that I'm looking at. Tigers dump it in the corner. Sienna over there to try to grab it, but it comes back over here to the near side into the neutral zone. Tigers, Sienna's got it on her stick, gets it into the corner, back behind the net. Barton there to help her out. She gets it, tries a wraparound shot. Goalie's got her big leg down there to block that off. They send it up the far side boards. Utah grabs it, sends it over here to the near side. Tacking in on the Tigers. Nordzy there to poke it off into the corner. And she'll collect it up, send it over the far side. That's Carly over there. Sends it back behind the net. Phoebe there, trying to get it on her stick. Bodies up the Utah player. And looks like Claire has it on her stick. She'll circle it back and then pass it out along the near side boards out into the neutral zone. Carries all the way into the Tigers' offensive end. They'll go for a line change. Back out into the neutral zone. Nordzy there to grab it. She'll charge in. Tigers, it looks like we're going to get an offsides call. They're making a line change, but didn't quite get off of the ice in time before the puck came across. So 2:21 left in the second period. Tigers trailing 4-0. 14 shots for Utah in the game, 6 for the Tigers. Back to Bonnet. Bonnet tried to make a D-to-D pass there, gets intercepted in on Erica. Erica tries to get her blocker up. Top left corner, goal for Utah. 5-0, 2:10 left. Reagan out there at center for the Tigers. Walzer on her left with Lucy out there on her right. Bella Blackmore and Casey Colby out there at defense. Here comes Utah on the charge. Center pass over. They collect it up, loses it off of the backhand. Into the corner. Reagan up there. Gets tied up with the Utah skater. They collect it. Tried to charge in front of the net. Shot just wide right of the net. Another shot in on Erica. She makes a nice pad save there to kick it into the near side corner. Reagan there tying up the Utah player. They take it back behind the net. Casey giving chase. Nice center pass over. Tigers pop it out to the blue line. The defenseman there for the blue line at the blue line kept it in momentarily, but the Tigers do get that cleared out to the neutral zone. Here comes a pass up to the blue line, and Utah brings it in. Shot in on Erica, and she'll get that swallowed up. So we'll get a face-off here in the Tigers' defensive end with 1:13 left in the second period. Tigers trailing 5-0. Face-off will be to Erica's left. Phoebe in there to take the face-off. She controls it, sends it up to the blue line, couldn't quite get it out. Sienna there to give battle, pops it out into the neutral zone. Utah there to collect it up, sends it all the way up to their offensive zone. They dump it back behind the net. Can't quite tell who had it, who is down there for the Tigers, but they get control of it, get it out, but lose it as soon as they get it into the neutral zone. Does carry all the way into the Tigers offensive zone. Phoebe down there bodying up the girl. Battle going on, comes up to Nordzy. Nordzy tried to pop it back up to Carly. Goes all the way to the far side. Phoebe there to control it, pops it by the Utah defender along the board. She brings it over here to the near side. Over to Nordzy. Nordzy dumps it back up into the corner where Lucy's waiting for it. She tried to center it back out, but Carly just couldn't get there in time to get a clean shot off on the goalie. Phoebe chasing it down into the corner. And there's the period. End of 2, Tigers 0, Utah 5. Shots on goal, if this is up to date, are 14-6 Utah still. That can't be right. It's saying each team only had one shot in the second period there. So let me update here while we're waiting for the third period to start.